ask a question, I'll just come down here and I'll hand you my microphone if you want to join in. This is a question for Ilsa. Did Ilsa die at the end of the play because it never said, and she hints that she would be found dead to Moritz?
Yeah, you can actually interpret that in so many ways. I think she's really such an enigma in the show because, you know, in the first act she's kind of like a phantom. She guides people through this, you know, this touch me dance that we do. And then, you know, she sings The Dark and Well, and then you kind of don't hear about her again. She has this huge scene with Moritz, and you know, what Moritz doesn't understand in that scene is that they could easily save each other. They're so made for each other, but he refuses to see that because he has one mission. He's on a one-track mind, and he's going to do this. Yeah, she says that because, you know, the whole trashy blind and being dead, and she comes out during the funeral in this, like, green dress that's not, like, how do you say, time appropriate, period appropriate. You can interpret it kind of the way you want. I do believe, though, that the difference between Moritz and Ilsa is that Ilsa decides to live because she still has hope. No matter what she's gone through at the artist colony or no matter what she's gone through at home, the thing that separates her from Moritz is that she still has that spark that everything can be okay. And that's why I think, personally, that she does go on and she does certainly just decide to live. I don't think she dies.
And I apologize to those of you who haven't seen the story yet, but a number of these questions are plot related, so I'll go forward with a few more. But Taylor, why do you think it is so hard in the end for Moritz to just take her hand and just walk home with her?
Well, Moritz's whole life, he fails at everything. Like he doesn't please his parents. He doesn't do well in school. He's never been able to like commit to something and succeed. So for once, he has this idea that he wants to kill himself, and he's like, if I can't even do that, like, what does that say about me? Like, I will have never like gone through with anything. I will have never succeeded with anything. So as sad as it is, he like wants to finally commit to doing something right, and it's morbid, but for once, he's set out to do something, and he's gonna finish it.
So I know that you all love the dancing in this show. We did get a question for somebody to explain the choreography of what's going on. Bill T. Jones, the award-winning choreographer. What's going on in that Totally Fucked dance?
Well, we have like the dance that you always see that goes to the face and the boobies and the, you know, all that stuff. You know, it's kind of like the theme of the show. It's kind of about, you know, discovering your body. And when Wendla comes on stage in the first act, you know, she discovers her body and she realizes that she's changing. So the whole, you know, point of the choreography is just pretty much that. It's just self-discovery and
it really speeds up at that point too.
Yes, it does. It does.
You know, really incredible.
Because you're fucked, you know.
You're fucked at warp speed. Did I say that? I'm not a representative of any Colorado high school. Please do not call the Denver Post. Question from the audience. Do you get nervous showing nudity on stage? I know this is probably more specifically for those two
I get so nervous when I have to do that scene with Taylor, God.
Luckily, we don't expose ourselves. But I know the actors who play Melkor and Wendla who do always tell me that by that point, they've like already formed this like incredible trust between each other that it's almost as if they're just alone and there's nothing really too scary about it. And that what scares them more is there's a scene before that where Melchior beats Wendla. He hits her with the stick, and they always say that's so much scarier to do in front of 2,000 people than to show their butt.
And I mean the sex scene is just like it's so important to the story that there is some nudity, or else nobody would buy it. Like it would just, and it's not done gratuitously. It's like. It's tasteful.
Like, audiences know that when people have sex, they don't do it with their clothes on. So it would almost be.
Is that true?
I think so, as far as I know. I think it almost offends audiences' intelligence if we like were to not portray it truthfully. Like you guys know that, like how it works. So why like try
no, you
to
don't. You
it's just truthful.
When I got to interview Jake before you guys came to town, I asked him about having to do that act in front of 2,000 people every night, and do you ever get used to it? And his response, paraphrasing, was basically, it's really easy to keep it fresh because he's pulling down his pants in front of 2,000 people every night. So
Yeah,
he's
he does actually, he does say that like he's always so freaked out by it.
Especially when his 90-year-old grandmother saw it recently.
Yeah.
He said,
He was not excited about
he said, if you're in the audience, if you think they're freaked out about it, imagine how freaked out I am. Question from the audience. For high school kids, when they do shows, they do Friday and Saturday nights, for a couple weekends. You're doing 8 shows a week. How do you continue to get into character night after night and not have it take over your own life?
Well, I guess what's interesting about that is that, of course, you have to sort of separate yourself from what happens because sometimes it gets really emotional. I mean, especially, for Taylor and what Moritz goes through. And, but I think what's interesting is that if you're creating a character, you're creating it from yourself. So somewhere you'll never really be separated from them because they come from such a real place for you. But yeah, I guess it's kind of interesting. I said that the other day, that it's weird how Ilsa has become me and I become Ilsa, and I don't know where one starts and where the other one finishes, sort of. But yeah, I truly do believe that, if you're creating something, then it comes from somewhere, and if it's truthful, well, it comes from a real place.
This brings us back to the bridging that we were talking about before. Stephen Sater, who wrote the lyrics and the